When you eliminate the safety net, you ignite a fire inside you that cannot be replicated by half-hearted attempts or part-time dreams. The concept of burning the boats is not just a metaphor, it's a mindset. It means committing so fully to a vision that retreat is not an option. There's no escape plan, no backup parachute, and no soft landing. It's about removing the exit doors and deciding that success is not only possible, it's mandatory. When you adopt this mentality, something changes inside you. You don't just work hard, you fight. You don't just show up, you dominate. You don't just hope things will work out, you make sure they do. Having no plan B doesn't mean being reckless. It means being relentlessly focused. It means you've made a decision and you're willing to do whatever it takes to see that decision through. The people who leave their mark on the world aren't the ones who kept options open. They're the ones who locked in on a vision and didn't flinch when things got hard. They burned their boats and forced themselves to survive or thrive on the island of ambition. They knew that by removing the option of turning back, they gave themselves only one choice: succeed or perish trying. Most people fail not because they're not talented, but because they give themselves too many outs. They tell themselves, if this doesn't work, I'll just fall back on something else. But here's the truth, when you give yourself something to fall back on, you will, because in moments of fear, doubt, or fatigue, the mind looks for comfort. If it knows there's an easier path, it will take it. That's why people settle. That's why dreams die. That's why greatness is rare. It's not that success is impossible, it's that people are unwilling to cut the cord to comfort and leap into uncertainty with full commitment. When you choose to live with no plan B, everything intensifies. Your decisions get sharper. Your days get more intentional. You stop wasting time because every second counts. You begin to wake up with urgency. You go to bed exhausted but satisfied. You stop waiting for permission because you've already decided. You move differently. You act like it's already done because you're not entertaining the idea of failure as a stopping point, only as a teacher. You accept that pain will be part of the process, but you're not afraid of it. You welcome the fire because you know that's where greatness is forged. The road to anything worthwhile is paved with resistance. There will be moments when you question everything, when nothing is going right, when the world seems silent, when progress feels invisible. Those are the moments when Plan B starts whispering. It tells you to turn back, it offers you comfort, it begs you to settle, but if you never created a Plan B, there's no door to walk through. You're forced to find a way forward. You're forced to dig deeper, work smarter, and push harder. And in that process, you discover a version of yourself you never knew existed, a stronger, sharper, more resilient version. The real you. Some of the most successful people in history had nothing to fall back on. Their backs were against the wall. They were hungry, broke, rejected, laughed at, and yet they kept moving, not because they had certainty, but because they had no choice. That kind of necessity breeds innovation. It forces growth. It unlocks potential that comfort could never reach. When your life depends on it, you figure it out. You become resourceful, you adapt, you rise. There's no other option. Look at the people you admire, the game changers, the ones who built empires from nothing. Do you think they had a backup plan? Maybe at one point, but the moment they went all in, they committed in a way that most people never do. They were willing to fail publicly. They were willing to look foolish. They were willing to risk it all. And because they were willing, they became unstoppable, not because everything went their way, but because they made it go their way. The truth is, most people never get what they want because they never fully commit. They put one foot in and keep the other out. They play it safe, they hedge their bets, and in doing so, they never experience the magic of full immersion. When you go all in, you unlock levels of creativity, strength, and determination that part-time effort will never access. You begin to operate with a sense of destiny. You act like your dream is not just possible, it's inevitable. That kind of mindset creates momentum, it draws people in, it builds belief, and eventually, it turns vision into victory. There will be critics, people will tell you to have a plan B, they'll say you need to be practical. They'll warn you about failure, and you should listen but not obey. Because what they're really saying is, I'm afraid to take that kind of risk, and I'd rather you didn't either. Don't let their fear become your philosophy. Don't let their limitations become your boundaries. You weren't born to live cautiously. You were born to pursue something so meaningful that it's worth the risk of failure. When you commit without compromise, life meets you differently. Doors open, opportunities appear, people sense your seriousness and respond to it. The universe has a way of rewarding the relentless. Not immediately, not easily, but inevitably, because persistence is undefeated, and when you have no plan B, persistence becomes your default setting. You don't stop when it's hard, you push through. You don't retreat when things break down, you rebuild. You don't give up when you're tired, you rest, refocus, and reattack, because you're not in this for fun, you're in this for life. No plan B means no excuses. It means owning your outcome. It means being the kind of person who doesn't wait for things to happen, but makes them happen. It's a commitment to live with intention, to walk with conviction, and to lead with purpose. It's about trading security for growth, predictability for possibility, and comfort for greatness. You may fall, you may fail, but you will never regret betting on yourself. So, the question is simple. Are you ready to burn the boats? Are you ready to live like there is no turning back? Are you ready to chase your dream like your life depends on it? Because it does. Not just the life you're living now, but the life you were meant to live, the future you were born to create. The impact you are destined to make, that future doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you say, this is it, I'm all in, and I'm never looking back. That's what it means to live with no plan B. That's what it takes to be relentless. Fear is one of the most powerful forces in the human experience. It can paralyze, suffocate, and sabotage the dreams of even the most talented individuals. But for the relentless, fear isn't something to avoid, it's something to use. When you commit to a life with no plan B, fear doesn't vanish, it intensifies. It becomes a constant presence, a shadow that walks beside you. But instead of running from it, the relentless learn how to harness it. They turn fear into fuel, into momentum, into raw, unstoppable energy that drives them toward their vision with urgency and passion. Fear shows up when something matters deeply to us. It's the body's way of signaling that the stakes are high, that you're venturing into the unknown, that you're stepping out of the familiar and into something that might break you or make you. Most people interpret fear as a warning to stop, to retreat, to play it safe. But fear, when viewed through the right lens, is not a stop sign. It's a green light. It means you're on the right track, that you're moving toward growth, that you're doing something that has the power to transform your life forever. The relentless don't waste time wishing fear away. They accept it, they welcome it, they understand that fear is a sign they're alive, that they're chasing something real. And instead of letting it dictate their pace, they let it push them harder. When you have no backup plan, fear becomes your companion, but not your master. You don't suppress it or let it cripple you. You observe it, understand it, and use it to your advantage. You let it sharpen your focus, raise your intensity, and fuel your every move. Think about the moments in your life when fear was loudest. Chances are, those were the moments right before a breakthrough, right before a leap, right before you stepped into a version of yourself you hadn't yet met. That fear wasn't trying to stop you, it was testing you, it was asking, how bad do you want it? And the relentless answer by moving forward anyway. Not because they aren't afraid, but because they've made peace with fear's presence. They've decided that fear is part of the journey, not a reason to turn around. People often confuse fear with weakness. They think being afraid means they're not ready, not capable, or not strong enough. But the truth is, Fear is often the clearest indicator that you are exactly where you need to be. You can only be afraid of things that matter. You don't fear mediocrity because there's no risk in it. You fear greatness because it requires you to rise. You fear change because it demands growth. You fear failure because it threatens your comfort zone. But all of those fears point directly toward the life you're meant to live. And when you stop running from them and start listening to them, you gain power. The relentless use fear as a mirror. They study it, they ask why it's there, what it's trying to teach them. And then they move anyway. That's what separates them from the crowd. While others pause and wait for the fear to subside, the relentless take action in spite of it. They build confidence through courage. They prove to themselves over and over again that fear doesn't have to win. That fear isn't the enemy, it's the catalyst, and the more they lean into it, the stronger they become. When you remove Plan B, fear amplifies, but so does clarity. You stop dabbling, you stop second-guessing. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You act, and that action builds momentum. Fear might still whisper in your ear, but it can't hold you back when your commitment is louder than your doubts. The relentless understand that fear thrives in hesitation, that the longer you wait, the louder it gets. So they don't wait, they move with urgency. They understand that action is the antidote to fear. There's a kind of power that only comes from walking through the fire. From doing the thing that scares you, from standing in the storm and refusing to bow. That kind of strength isn't taught, it's earned. It's forged in discomfort, and it only belongs to those who face fear head-on. When you decide that your dream matters more than your comfort, when you decide that fear will no longer be your excuse, you start building something unbreakable inside of you. You become dangerous, focused, unstoppable. Fear also has a strange way of keeping you honest. It reveals your attachments, your ego, your insecurities. It strips you bare. It forces you to confront who you really are and what you truly believe in. And in doing so, it gives you a choice: shrink or rise. Hide or step up, wait or go all in. The relentless always choose to rise, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Because their dream is too important to surrender to fear. They don't numb fear with distractions. They don't run to comfort when things get hard. They sit in it, they learn from it, and then they move forward bolder and wiser. That kind of courage isn't loud. It's quiet, steady, and consistent. It's not the absence of fear, it's the refusal to be controlled by it. That's where true power lies, in the decision to act even when your hands are shaking, in the choice to speak even when your voice trembles, in the willingness to leap even when the ground feels uncertain. The beautiful thing is, every time you do the thing you're afraid of, fear loses a little bit of its grip. It shrinks, you grow, your confidence expands, your belief deepens, and eventually, fear becomes less of a threat and more of a signal. A signal that says, you're stretching, you're elevating, you're doing something that matters. That's the life of the relentless, not a life free from fear, but a life defined by how they respond to it. So, if you feel afraid, good. That means you're still in the game. That means you're still fighting. That means you're not playing small. Let fear walk beside you, but never ahead of you. Let it sit in the passenger seat, but never touch the wheel. You're the driver, you choose the direction. And the more you move forward in spite of fear, the more fearless you become, not because the fear disappears, but because you've built the strength to walk through it. This is what it means to be relentless, to stand in the presence of fear, to feel every ounce of it in your bones, and to keep going anyway. To trust that what lies on the other side is worth every tremble, every doubt, every sleepless night. To know that your dream demands this kind of courage, and to give it fully without hesitation, because you've burned the boats, because there is no plan B, and because nothing, not even fear, is going to stop you. Belief is the foundation of everything. When you have no plan B, belief is not optional, it's vital. It's the silent engine that drives you forward when the world is silent. It's the invisible armor you wear when no one claps, no one cheers, and no one believes in what you're building. The relentless understand that external support is fleeting, but self-belief is eternal. When the noise fades, when the likes disappear, and when even those closest to you start doubting, all you have left is your inner conviction. And that's exactly what carries you through the darkest nights and the loneliest mornings. There's something powerful about believing in yourself when no one else does. It's a declaration to the universe that your worth isn't tied to applause. It's a statement that says, even if you can't see it yet, I can. That kind of belief isn't arrogant, it's essential. Without it, you'll crumble at the first sign of rejection. You'll slow down every time someone doesn't understand your dream. You'll start to question yourself just because others do. But when your belief is unshakable, the opinions of others lose their power. Their doubts don't derail you, their silence doesn't shake you. You become anchored in something far deeper than validation. You become anchored in purpose. The truth is, the beginning of any journey is quiet. There's no crowd, no spotlight, just long days and longer nights. You build in the dark, you hustle when no one's watching, you struggle in silence, and during those times, it's tempting to believe the lie that you're not enough. That it's not working, that it's taking too long, that maybe the doubters are right, but the relentless don't allow those lies to grow roots. They speak truth to themselves louder than the world speaks doubt. They remind themselves why they started. They revisit their vision every single day, and they hold on to belief like it's life or death, because it is. When there's no plan B, your mind can't afford to entertain the idea of quitting. You're not dabbling in the dream, you're married to it. You're not trying it out, you're building it no matter what. That level of commitment demands belief. Not just when things are going well, but especially when they're not. Because when failure shows up, and it will, it's your belief that keeps you standing. When the deal falls through, when the launch flops, when the support dries up, belief is what makes you get up, learn, and go again. It tells you this setback is not your story, it's just a chapter. The world loves to celebrate the finish line, but it ignores the loneliness of the marathon. It praises the results but overlooks the grind. If you're waiting for applause to keep going, you'll stop the moment it goes quiet. But if you're powered by inner belief, nothing can turn you around. You won't need the world to believe in you, because you already do. That inner fire becomes your light in the tunnel. That belief becomes your compass when you're lost. It becomes your strength when you feel weak. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to bet on yourself, even when you have no proof that the bet will pay off. That's what belief looks like. It's not about having all the answers. It's about trusting yourself to figure them out. It's about knowing that even if you fall, you'll rise. Even if you fail, you'll learn. Even if you get rejected, you'll come back stronger. That belief creates momentum, it builds resilience, it makes you magnetic, because people eventually follow those who are sure of themselves, even if they don't understand the vision yet. The relentless don't wait for belief to come from the outside, they cultivate it from within. Every morning, they choose belief. When the alarm goes off and their body says stay, they say go. When the world doubts, they decide to believe harder. They remind themselves that the dream isn't built on talent alone. It's built on tenacity. And tenacity is powered by belief. A belief so strong that no rejection, no criticism, no delay can shake it. That's what separates the relentless from the rest. Not luck, not genius, but belief. Raw, unwavering, unbreakable belief. There's a strange truth about life. The more you believe in yourself, the more others eventually will. But the belief has to start with you. You don't wait for permission. You don't wait for proof. You show up every single day like it's already yours. You act as if the world already knows your name, even if they don't yet. You build with the same energy and excellence as if the world was already watching. That kind of belief becomes contagious, people feel it, and eventually they follow it, but there will be days when the doubt is louder than the belief. That's inevitable. Days when everything goes wrong, days when nothing feels like it's working, days when quitting seems easier than continuing. On those days, you dig into your belief like it's your only lifeline because it is. You silence the outside noise. You tune into your why, and you remind yourself that no one has to understand your journey but you. That your dream wasn't given to them, it was given to you. That alone is enough reason to keep going. Belief is what gives birth to consistency. When you believe, you show up even when you don't feel like it. You stay focused even when progress is invisible. You remain loyal to the process even when the results haven't caught up yet. That's what makes belief such a powerful weapon. It turns ordinary people into extraordinary warriors. It transforms underdogs into legends. It turns long shots into household names. Not because they were favored to win, but because they believed they could relentlessly, obsessively, and unshakably. So if you're building something right now and no one's clapping, good, that's how it should be. That silence is your training ground. That stillness is your test, that loneliness is your forge, and your belief, that's your armor. That's what will carry you through the storm. That's what will keep you moving when your legs are tired, your heart is broken, and your path is unclear. You don't need the world to clap yet. You don't need their approval. You don't need their understanding. What you need is your own belief, the kind that's quiet, firm, and immovable. The kind that says, I don't care if you see it. I know it's real, I know it's possible, and I'm not stopping until it's done. That's the heartbeat of the relentless. That's the fuel of those who don't just dream. They do, they act, they endure, they believe, and because they do, they win. No plan B means belief isn't just an option. It's the oxygen you breathe. Without it, you suffocate. With it, you soar, so protect it, strengthen it, feed it daily, because in the end, belief isn't just what gets you started, it's what gets you through. Pressure has a way of revealing who you are. It strips away the noise, the excuses, and the illusions. When there's no plan B, pressure isn't a possibility, it's a guarantee. You've taken away your safety nets. You've told the world, this is it. There's no turning back. That level of commitment comes with a weight that most people never feel. And that weight can either crush you or create a version of you that can carry anything. The relentless are the ones who use pressure as power. They don't run from it, they don't fold under it, they rise within it. When your back is against the wall, when failure would mean starting from nothing, when every move matters and every second counts, you begin to tap into levels of strength and strategy that comfort would never demand from you. You don't think casually, you don't act aimlessly, you operate with purpose because the stakes are real. When you live without a plan B, you live with a sense of urgency that most people never experience. You stop procrastinating, you stop entertaining distractions, you become surgical with your time, your energy, your mindset, because you know there's no room for error. That pressure is not the enemy, it's the doorway. The moment you stop avoiding it and start using it, you evolve. Diamonds are made under pressure, and so are warriors, creators, champions. Without pressure, there is no transformation. Without pressure, potential remains dormant, but with it applied consistently and strategically, you're forced to stretch, to learn faster, to adapt more intelligently, and to execute with intensity. Pressure eliminates the luxury of half-effort. It demands full engagement. It wakes you up early. It keeps you locked in late. It makes you resourceful and relentless. It's in those high-pressure moments that character is built. Anyone can perform when things are easy, when money's flowing, when people are cheering. But who are you when it's all on the line? Who are you when the crowd is gone, when the failures stack up, when the deadline looms and nothing's going right? That's where the relentless thrive, not because they don't feel the pressure, but because they've trained themselves to move through it. They've made pressure their personal arena. While others crumble under stress, they use it to channel their best work, their clearest thinking, and their deepest focus. Pressure also acts as a purifier. It forces you to confront your weaknesses. It doesn't allow you to hide behind comfort. It puts everything under a microscope. Your habits, your discipline, your excuses, all of it gets exposed. And while that exposure may be uncomfortable, it's necessary. You can't grow without clarity. You can't improve what you're unwilling to see. Pressure forces you to become brutally honest with yourself, and that honesty is the birthplace of growth. The relentless welcome that. They understand that discomfort isn't a threat, it's a tool. It sharpens, it teaches, it strengthens. When there's no plan B, you treat pressure differently. You no longer resent it. You expect it, you prepare for it, you even create it for yourself when the world isn't applying it. The relentless don't wait for external deadlines, they create their own. They hold themselves accountable to standards higher than anyone else would demand. Because they know that pressure, when used correctly, keeps you sharp. It forces progress, it ignites creativity. It turns passive intention into deliberate execution. This kind of pressure transforms you from someone who hopes things work out into someone who makes sure they do. Hope is soft, pressure is real. Hope says maybe, pressure says now. It's the intensity of knowing that if you don't make it work, no one's coming to save you. That kind of pressure creates focus like nothing else. It eliminates indecision. It kills procrastination. It demands courage. It commands action. That's why the relentless don't just tolerate pressure, they seek it. They use it as leverage, as fuel, as proof that they're playing at a level where results matter. When you channel pressure the right way, you also gain clarity. Your priorities sharpen, the noise fades, you stop chasing everything, and you focus on what truly moves the needle. That's one of the greatest gifts of pressure. It forces simplification. You cut the fluff, you stop overthinking, you execute. In a world of distractions and options, pressure brings focus, and focus brings power. But let's be honest, pressure will try to break you. It will make you question your path, your ability, your worth. It will tempt you to quit, to lower your standards, to reach for the easy way out. That's where the nope, plan, B mindset becomes your foundation. When there's no escape route, no second option, no fallback strategy, you have no choice but to push through. That kind of resolve changes everything. It's the mindset that says, I'm either going to make this work or die trying. That's not drama. That's dedication. That's the cost of greatness. People talk about wanting success, but most don't want the pressure that comes with it. They want the results without the responsibility. They want the glory without the grind, but the relentless know that you don't get one without the other. You can't earn success if you can't handle the pressure that success demands. And you'll never know if you're built for it until you remove your plan B and put everything on the line. Pressure isn't permanent, but the strength you gain from handling it is. Every time you walk through fire without flinching, you build confidence. Every time you face a challenge head-on and survive, you build self-trust. And every time you refuse to break under the weight, you prove to yourself that you are built for more. That's how leaders are born. That's how legends are made. That's how history is written, not in moments of ease, but in moments of pressure when everything could fall apart, and you choose to rise instead. So if you're feeling pressure right now, good. That means you're in the game. That means you're chasing something real. That means you care deeply. And that pressure, it's not there to punish you. It's there to prepare you, to shape you, to mold you into someone who's not just capable but unstoppable. Embrace it, lean into it. Let it drive you, shape you, sharpen you. You're not here to play small. You're not here to coast. You're here to build something meaningful, something lasting, something powerful, and that kind of legacy doesn't come without pressure. So don't run from it. Use it, rise in it, because when you have no plan B, pressure is not your problem, it's your power. It's the exact thing that will take your ordinary life and turn it into an extraordinary one. You were built for this, now prove it.